I took some clips of me carrying in the wooden stuff and cutting it, but I think it was overexposed because I went from that normal angle back there on that shelf where I'm pointing, actually slightly different because normally I go right there with my camera and I moved it over there, but I think it was too overexposed because it is pretty bright out, as you can see over here. So I think the exposure is too high, or whatever that setting is. I think it's that, but I'll kind of do it this way. So for any of you who don't know, this is my new platform, or at least the first step of it. And this is the 2 pieces of plywood on the bottom. Let me crank that exposure up even more because it's so bright from outside, the contrast from out here. 2 4x8. I had to cut some pieces off. You see it's not perfect, but I didn't measure it because it's a platform. This side is pretty square, but you can see that back end is a little bit not, but I do have a little bit extra wood there to kind of mess with that a bit if I want to. If I don't, then it's not too big of a deal. But what I'm currently working on, let me get super close up, is screwing it down. So I left all my old platform up, and I'm screwing it down. What's weird is a lot of the screws go pretty close in. Like this is relatively flush, but I might hammer this a little bit. And like this one went all the way down in, but this one didn't, and I had to beat it with a hammer. And some of them go all the way in, some of them don't, because the screws are, let me get this in the camera, relatively long, like a finger length. And like that one I beat, that one actually knocked the top off. There's a screw in there. It's hard to see, but I was just beating it with the hammer to get it to flush in there. But it's actually attaching pretty well. So my next step is to continue to screw, I guess, continue that step. But then bring out the MDF wood, which I have on that side of my house, and then the rubber, which it's right there, which I don't really want to drag because it's very heavy. But so far it's been a pretty easy process. I've been slow walking it because I was making a pizza, and so I think I could probably do that if I like just did this. I could probably do it in 30 minutes, assuming that the cutting and everything went how it did, pretty easy and straightforward. But I've been slow walking it, like I said, because I'm making food in there. I'm going to go in and eat some of that pizza, but I'm going to come back out and finish screwing. Should be able to use it today. It's about 4 o'clock. It should take me another... I guess underneath there's nothing. Underneath where it's a little squeaky, so I'll mess with that a bit more. We'll see if we can get that to be a bit better, but if there's a bit of a creak, that's the very back of it, so like I really am not going to be utilizing it too terribly much, but so far I'm really happy. The part that was on level before, where I'm standing here, is flat, so it should be a really level platform. So I don't know if this will be a part, if I'm going to be able to include any of the clips of me carrying stuff in it, but if not, then I'll show the rest of the steps like this so you can kind of see the process. But the first step was getting these 2 pieces of wood in, cutting it so it fits, because it's like 7.5 feet this length. As I'm trying to point on the camera, it's about 7.5, not quite 8. That's like that would be a little bit too perfect if this shed was precisely 8 feet. I'm sure that they probably did measure it like that because that's how most wood is length, but it just ended up being a little bit shorter with that little piece there blocking it on that big piece. It was very annoying, so I had to cut the first one twice, but so far so good. Pretty easy process. Alright, so the next step is done. I screwed through the midline of the platform. Let me step on the outside of it. I have the middle piece in, which seems a lot wider than I anticipated, but it should be fine. I had to cut off a little bit of the back, so you see there is that little bit of that little opening there, which would be perfect for the other bar that I have. Let me open up the exposure a little bit. So not the illegal one on the right, but the bastard bar on the left from Strength Shop. First barbell I ever bought, but got that there, so I have to get the rubber in, which looks like there is... So this middle part I don't have screwed in yet, because I want to put the rubber in to kind of see what that looks like. But the pieces are 8 feet long and 4 feet wide, so that will be a little bit tricky. But I think they'll be able to hang off underneath a little bit, so I don't have to cut them, because that would be a big pain. But I might have to cut them, the width of them a little bit, because that does not look like anywhere near 4 feet. So I will have to cut the width off, but it means I'll just have extra rubber pieces, I suppose. But almost there. Just gonna keep working. Starting to rain a little bit, so I'll make sure I get the rubber in here. Alright, so we're at the next step of getting some of the rubber tiling down. Now notice it doesn't go all the way because I didn't actually realize this, but my shipment is 1 of 2, so the other piece will get here, or the other 2 will get here tomorrow, so I'll have enough to fill in, where's my finger? There it is. That spot and that spot. I'll probably leave this right here and not screw it in, because once I get the new piece, then I'll just scoot this up, screw it down, and then use the rest of it to fill in the spots that are back here. But essentially it's ready. I just have to finish screwing the middle piece in. The rubber I'm going to just leave unscrewed, but just put a bunch of screws everywhere, and then we really be chilling. So I mean, it's essentially I can use it. I just have to get, it feels a little bouncy now because this part needs to be screwed down, but should be good to go. So hopefully I'll have a video of it, of me lifting on it, be the next one that you see. I don't know what exercise I'll be doing today, but I'll be doing something. This middle part, it's like really nice. I don't know. I almost kind of wish I used the plywood on the middle part instead of the MDF, but that's what Catalyst said, so if it gets too bad, I'm sure there's stuff I could put on it. But anywho, got the rubber tiles. I'm just about done. Just got to screw it in like I said, and then wait till tomorrow to get the other pieces of rubber. Then I'm going to be hard chilling. I'll be able to, well, I mean, I could squat now. I just have to scoot the rubber up. So I'm pretty much done. Alright, I think this will be the last little update of the stuff I do, but I readjusted some of the stuff at the back, so you notice the squat stands are up there, and that is because of a temporary solution of I want to train today. So I have the rubber mats, there's my hand, rubber mats out there, so I'll be able to lift. They might move a little bit, but they shouldn't because they're pretty dense and they're pretty heavy. And then I have the crash pads up there just so it's not just blank wood. But if I squat or anything, then obviously I'll move those down and then move the rubber mats up to be able to use those. But the middle part, let me jump on this real quick, is all stable now. So I don't have any bouncing around, and that's because all the wood screw down along the sides. Like I said, the only thing that's not screwed down is the actual rubber mats itself, but it should be good. And the only thing that looks a bit janky is this little piece here. Let me move the crash pad. I didn't make the best cut on this MDF wood, so I put the pieces I kind of messed up along there because I had a little gap, and it actually filled it in pretty nicely. And I have that actually nailed down. Everything else is screwed in, but those I wanted to be nailed down since they're little pieces, and so they're out of the way. But yeah, I'm amazed at how easy this was. If I had all the rubber, it'd probably take me another 20 minutes to get those two pieces filled in. But when they get there, they're more 3x4, which I realize is not 4x8, but a total, I guess, of what, 6x8. But I'll be able to extend this out all the way and have enough rubber for that, and then I'll have pieces left over. I have the pieces left over up here. They're very dense, as you see, so I'll probably try to repurpose them in some fashion and maybe put them on some of the like jerk blocks or something to make like crash pads on there. We'll have to see. I do have a ton of it left over, and I'll have even more tomorrow, so I will have to see how that shapes up, but I'll probably put it on top of the top piece for that, and then it should make it a lot more durable. Or I may not even screw it into that. I might just leave the rubber disconnected like it is there, and then I can put it on whatever level that I have it on. But anywho, so let me step out of the shed once more before I get the leaf blower and blow all the rubber pieces and dust off. But see there, pretty basic stuff. So it's just under 8 feet in length, and then the width, no idea, but it is, well, the pieces were what, 3 feet, and I cut off a little bit, and the middle was 3, so 6 plus 4, 10, so I mean it's a little bit, it's like 10 feet-ish, probably a little bit less wide, and then 7-ish, 7.5 feet, I should say, of length, which is more than enough for any lifting I do. So, yep, pretty happy with that, but next video you see of me will be pumping the iron with hopefully all of it. Well, the next video will be with this janky background with the wood there, and then the rest will be all fixed, because hopefully tomorrow the rubber's here and I have that all done. But if you've watched this, appreciate it. If you have any questions about how I built anything, let me know. Pretty basic, pretty simple, but I should be able to throw some weights onto the actual floor and not have to depend on the crash pads, which will be nice. And I won't have to have those out all the time, unless I'm doing something crazy heavy and I don't want to be disrespectful to the neighbors. So it's nice for the noise aspect, but I won't have to destroy those as quickly. But anywho, that's it for this one. Talk to you all the next one. Peace.